Okay, so we got a Kubota ZD21 diesel, and it's overheating. And it doesn't even get all the way up to the top. It gets up right about there before it starts to oversteam this bottle and make you a puddle on the floor. I figured it's a good time to talk about symptoms of bad head. If you're overheating with no explanation, if you're losing power, if you see bubbles with the radiator cap off, before it hits operating temp, take your cap off while it's cold, let it run, you see bubbles coming up and out, you probably have a cracked head, blown head gasket, or another issue that needs the head removed and inspected.
Here's my engine running with the radiator cap removed. As you can see, we're getting bubbles popping up into the radiator cap, letting me know that there's exhaust gas getting into the radiator and making their way up to the top of the cap area.
Unplug this. I'm gonna unplug this guy. Be very careful with old connectors that they don't just crumble apart. Like that one was about to fall apart. There's a ground right here. Now, before I said this thing was bad, head gasket, I tried everything. I double checked the water pump was working, made sure everything was kosher with the water pump. Unplug this sensor over here. Now we can go ahead and start pulling that back. It's a little teeny tiny guy that unhooks that one right there. I think it's like a 4 to 5. It's a 7 mil that catches these guys. Hey, it didn't break. Awesome. Okay, now, once you get your wires all unhooked, very gently pull them through like so. Okay, now, and pop anything open. Since this is a lawn mower, I want to try to keep all the trash we can out. All right, our next step is to go ahead and pull all of the injectors and the injector lines. For that, I think we need a 15 millimeter. Remember right, indeed they are 17s. So we're going to take this line off right here. Okay. That line comes off. Now he's going to want to leak. So you either have to pinch him off, or, oh look, he stopped. But he may start again. Just take a bolt. Put a bolt in there, that'll stop it for a minute. Okay, now, the next thing we gotta do is pull the return lines. Let me get a pick. Try to save you some money, get you a pick, come in, pick all these lines. That'll help break them free. Hopefully. This one's a hard one to get to. Hopefully take the clamp all the way off too. Okay, get your return off. Once your return is off and out of the way, if you don't have a line wrench, get you a 17 line wrench. It makes life easier. These guys up here, you can do with no problem. Okay, knock them, knock them. Knock them. We're going to undo our injectors. Now, if you're the guy that wants to like undo your manifold and do all that stuff, if you want to put new gaskets on, well, you can. The best way to get these exhaust manifolds off, the bolts, or the nuts loose rather, is to run it and get it good and hot and try to catch them while they're hot. And a lot of times you can break them free without having to torch them because it heats them uniformly. You can get them right loose. Now, we're gonna come in and get all of these. Now this engine was just ran, so it is hotter than a DVD player in a crack house. Do we still watch DVDs? I don't know. Okay, so those are free. And come down here to your pump. You can catch these guys pretty easy. You may be able to catch all three. Go ahead and pull them off one here. Okay, so there's one. That's where you need the line wrench to make your life easier. We might be able to catch it. So what we're gonna do, these tubes for the injectors, we gotta be real easy with them because they don't tolerate much movement. You can crack one of these tubes real easy, and then it's not fun. You'll have a very bad day. You'll cuss. Just take the one loose. Here's a screw. Here's his buddy. His buddy's pretty well glued on there. We're gonna leave him. Okay, now you can get that middle one a lot easier. Now this is just water I had in here to try to run it and see, could it be this, could it be that, could it be this, before I said, yeah, it's a bad head. I know it's still very hot. But one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to pull this radiator hose and not get burned. Kind of like that, that was nice. Whew. She's still hot. Okay, once you get that, take your pick. There's a breather hose that we gotta loosen. Okay. Get the pick up and loose. Now this is a D782 engine. Yours may have different stuff. It may or may not have that. It may be a manual pull cable kind of deal to turn it off. Just double check that everything looks the same and that we can pull it. Like I'm gonna have to take this bracket loose right here as a bolt and then lift right off. Pull the hose. Now, pull this guy if we can. Now. Okay, next step, if you get all that off, is to pull your valve cover. And there's our old gasket, which we will be getting a new one for, as this one didn't make it. Now there's three gaskets or washers at the top that hold those valve covers in. You got to get those too. Pick these guys off. Okay, so now we got to pull the valve train. Look like 12. No, they're 10s. Okay. There's always one you drop. Not to worry. Put this guy somewhere clean, clean, clean. Okay, once we pull that. Once you got this off, these are your head bolts right here. And you're gonna have to take off this rail for the glow plugs because they're right in our way. Okay, once you get your valve train exposed or out of the way, you get those, all of those are your head gaskets. The only thing I gotta do is a bolt right here. It looks like a 12 millimeter. I gotta pop that bolt out of the way and then the whole thing will lift off. Now, you can, one at a time, go ahead and take each, it's a 13. Take each one off. The other thing, it looks like I have to take this bolt loose for the alternator. We'll do that. Verify stuff like this guy's unhooked. Alternator ought to come up now. Yeah, pretty much. You don't have to do anything with the water pump. This is the back side of the timing cover, so that one ought to stay right there. I think they're 13s. I think maybe. So there's our head gasket removed, and it's hard to say. hard to say. Maybe right in there. But we're gonna get it all cleaned up, put a flat edge on it, and put another one on. All right, so after checking the head pretty good, I didn't find much on the gasket, but on cylinder 2, you can see right there, there's a crack in the head.